My wife said you want to hoard money until you are dead too. And spent money on shopping for boats 3 weeks after my mother's funeral. Now I understand what she really meant. I am 35 here, married to my wife 32 for 5 years. No kids. I am writing this because I need to process what just happened and maybe warn others about signs I completely missed. My mother died suddenly last month. Heart failure at 62. She was healthy, active, then just gone. The grief has been overwhelming. Mom and I were close. After Dad passed when I was in college, it was just the two of us for years. Here is what I am realizing now. Mom never warmed up to my wife, Sarah. I always dismissed it as typical mother-in-law dynamics. Nobody's good enough for her son, right? But looking back, there were specific warnings I ignored. We would have Sunday dinners at Mom's place, small ranch house in the suburbs, same one I grew up in. Sarah would talk about her business ideas, online boutique 1 month, lifestyle coaching the next, social media consulting after that. Always the next big thing that needed just a bit more capital to launch. Mom would listen quietly, then ask surgical questions. How many clients do you currently have? What is your revenue model? Have you filed for an LLC? Sarah's answers were always variations of the same theme. Building her brand first. Networking phase. Investment in herself. Mom would just nod and change the subject. I defended Sarah constantly, told Mom she was being too practical, too old school about entrepreneurship, that you had to spend money to make money. That building a personal brand takes time and vision. There was a dinner about 9 months ago that I keep thinking about now. Mom mentioned she was updating her estate planning. Sarah's whole demeanor changed. She leaned forward, suddenly, very interested. Estate planning, that is so smart, getting everything organized, Sarah said. How does that work exactly? Like, when does everything transfer? Is it automatic, or are there processes? Mom's expression went carefully neutral. It is complicated. Lawyers handle most of it, but Sarah kept pushing. I just mean, it is good to know these things. For planning purposes, like, should we be thinking about our own wills? What assets are involved typically? I remember being embarrassed by how direct she was being. Mom just said the house was paid off and she had some savings. Nothing exciting. Then she changed the subject completely. I found out later that Mom went to her attorney the next week. Mom also asked me privately once, "How are your savings looking, honey?" "Fine," I said. "Why?" "Just wondering if you kept your accounts separate like we talked about." I had. Some of them, the retirement account from my old job, but we had combined most things when we got married. That is what married people do. Mom just nodded. Good. Always good to have something that is just yours. Your father and I always kept one account separate just in case. 3 weeks ago, I got the call at work. Mom collapsed at the grocery store. Massive heart attack. By the time paramedics arrived, she was gone. They said she didn't suffer. That is supposed to help, but it doesn't. Sarah was supportive at first, came to the hospital, held my hand at the funeral, helped sort through Mom's belongings, all the right gestures, but something felt off. She kept asking about Mom's estate, whether there was a will, what the house was worth. If there were investment accounts I didn't know about, I was too deep in grief to question it much. Of course, we had need to handle Mom's affairs. Sarah was just being practical, helping me think through logistics I couldn't face yet. The funeral was small. Mom's colleagues from the school district where she had worked as an administrator, neighbors, a few cousins. My best friend Mike drove in from Seattle. He has known me since high school, knew Mom almost as long. Sarah gave a touching speech about what a strong, independent woman Mom was. How much she would taught Sarah about resilience. People kept telling me afterward how lucky I was to have such a supportive wife. Mike pulled me aside during the reception. "You holding up okay?" "Not really," I admitted. Sarah seems very involved in the logistics. I must have looked confused because he clarified. "She has been talking to your mom's neighbors about the house, asking about property values in the area." Just seemed like odd timing. I defended her. She is trying to help, trying to take pressure off me. Mike nodded but looked unconvinced. "Just checking in. Call me if you need anything at all." A week after the funeral, Mom's attorney called, Richard Walsh, the guy who had handled her affairs for 20 years. He asked me to come in to discuss the estate. Sarah insisted on joining. You shouldn't face legal stuff alone right now. I will be there to help you understand everything. Walsh's office was old school, wood paneling, leather chairs, diplomas from the 80s. He offered condolences, then opened a thick folder. Your mother was very thorough with her planning, he said. She made several updates recently, wanted everything properly structured. I figured there might be enough to cover funeral costs with maybe a small amount left over. Mom lived simply, same house for 30 years. 2012 Camry, shopped at Costco with coupons. Walsh adjusted his glasses. Your mother's estate is valued at approximately $1–2 million. The room went silent. I actually laughed. That is impossible. Mom was a school administrator. She lived in the same house forever. Your mother was exceptionally disciplined financially, Walsh explained. She maximized her pension contributions from day one, invested conservatively in index funds for 30 years, maintained a very modest lifestyle. Plus the life insurance from your father's death 20 years ago, she invested every dollar and never touched it. Sarah's hand found mine, squeezed hard. I felt her whole body tense. 1–2 million. Her voice had an edge I had never heard. Roughly $400,000 in investment accounts, $300,000 in life insurance benefits that appreciated significantly, $350,000 equity in the house, and the remainder in savings bonds and CDs. I couldn't process it. Mom had been wealthy this whole time and never said anything. We had split restaurant checks. She had used coupons. I had offered to help with bills and she had always refused. There are conditions attached to the inheritance, Walsh said carefully. Your mother was very specific about when and how funds could be accessed. Perhaps we should discuss those. What kind of conditions? Sarah asked before I could speak. Walsh looked directly at me, not her. We will go through everything in detail. This will take some time. That night, Sarah transformed. We got home, and she immediately started Googling real estate listings. Luxury SUVs, boat dealerships, investment properties. Look at this, she said, showing me a house in Lake Tahoe. $750,000 for 4 bedrooms right on the water. We could rent it out when we are not using it. Instant revenue stream. Sarah, I just found out about this today. Can we slow down? Slow down. Babe, we just inherited over $1 million. This is life-changing. We can finally do everything we have talked about. But we had never talked about lake houses or boats. These were her ideas, her dreams she had mentioned in passing. Over the next few days it got worse. She made spreadsheets called financial advisors, researched franchise opportunities, talked about quitting her marketing job. Every conversation was about the money, how to spend it, what to invest in, the future we would build. I tried to pump the brakes, said I needed time to grieve. That mom would want us to be smart and careful. Your mom lived like she was poor her whole life, Sarah snapped. She died with over $1 million she never enjoyed. Is that what you want? To hoard money until you are dead too. Do not hoard money like your mother did. The contempt in her voice shocked me, the way she said it, like Mom's careful planning was somehow pathetic. Mom wasn't hoarding. She was building something. For me, for my future. Our future, Sarah corrected sharply. We are married. This is our money now. That is when I started noticing things I had ignored before. Update 1: I met with Walsh yesterday, told Sarah I needed to handle it alone. She was furious, said I was shutting her out of major decisions, that we were supposed to be partners in everything. I went anyway. Walsh pulled out documents I hadn't seen before. Your mother came to see me about 10 months ago, he began, right after a family dinner where your wife asked very specific questions about her estate. She was concerned. My chest tightened. What kind of concerned? She asked me about asset protection in marriage, whether inheritance could be shielded from divorce, how to structure trusts with conditions, what would hold up legally if challenged. She thought Sarah would leave me. She thought Sarah might not be who you believed she was. She hoped she was wrong, but she wanted you protected either way. Walsh opened to a page marked with red tabs. Your mother established an irrevocable trust. You are the beneficiary, but funds can only be accessed when specific conditions are met. What conditions? Condition 1. If you are unmarried when she passes, You must remain single for 1 full year before accessing the trust. I was married, so that didn't apply. Condition 2. If you are married at the time of her death, you must be divorced and remain single for 6 months before the inheritance is released. I stared at him. What happens if I stay married? Every dollar goes to the teacher's education fund, a charity your mother supported for decades. That is insane. She is forcing me to divorce. She is giving you information, Walsh said quietly. Your mother told me, if Sarah truly loves my son, she will not care about the money. She will support him through grief. She will be patient. But if she starts planning how to spend it before he is finished crying, then I will know. I felt sick. Does Sarah know about these conditions? Not unless you have told her. I only disclosed that conditions existed. The specifics were to be shared with you privately. Walsh pulled out an envelope, my name in Mom's handwriting. She asked me to give you this, said to open it. Only if you came back to discuss the trust terms. My hands shook as I opened it. My dearest son, if you are reading this, it means my fears were validated. I am so sorry, honey. I hoped I was wrong about Sarah. Real love doesn't come with a price tag. Real love supports you in grief, not celebrates financial opportunity. Real love is patient with healing, not impatient about spending. I watched her for 5 years, saw how she talked about money, how she dismissed my modest life as wasted potential, how every business idea needed someone else's funding, how she lit up when discussing assets but zoned out during real conversations about your work or interests. I don't want you trapped with someone who values you for what you can provide, not who you are. This trust isn't about control. It is about giving you clarity. Sarah will show you who she really is now. Trust yourself to see it. You deserve someone who wants you, not your resources. Whatever you decide, know I love you. You are the best part of my life. Be free, sweetheart. Choose yourself. Love always. Mom, I sat in Walsh's office and cried. Not grief crying, angry crying. Because Mom had been right. She had seen what I refused to see. There is something else, Walsh said when I had composed myself. He slid a folder across the desk. Your mother had me hire a financial analyst to review your joint accounts 9 months ago, just to understand the full picture. I opened it. Detailed records of transfers from our joint savings to an account I didn't recognize. $200 here, $300 there. Over 13 months, Sarah had moved $18,400. Where did this go? Walsh pointed to the analyst's notes. The account she transferred to shows regular cash withdrawals. We cross-referenced with business records. 3 different divorce attorneys. She has been paying consultation fees in cash, probably to hide them from joint account statements. My blood went cold. She has been planning to divorce me for over a year, it appears. And if I may, Walsh hesitated. The timing of her consultations increased significantly after that dinner. 9 months ago, when your mother mentioned estate planning, I drove home in a daze, checked our bank statements online. Walsh was right. Small transfers I had never questioned. How had I never noticed? When I got home, Sarah was waiting. Laptop closed quickly when I walked in. How would it go? Too casual. Fine. Just paperwork. When can we access the money? Not how are you feeling? Not was it hard seeing your mom's will? Just when do we get paid? It is complicated. There is a trust. Could take months. Her face hardened. How many months? Walsh said 6 at least. Maybe longer. There are legal requirements. That is ridiculous. It is your inheritance. What legal requirements? I shrugged. Kept it vague. Estate stuff, probate, standard procedures. She wasn't satisfied but dropped it. That night I couldn't sleep. Lay there wondering when exactly she had stopped loving me and started seeing me as an investment. Around midnight, I got up to get water. Heard Sarah on the phone in the spare room. Her voice carried through the door. No, he still doesn't know about the conditions. Walsh didn't tell him details, just that they exist. I know, but if it is going to take 6 months, I need to figure out if it is worth waiting, or if I should just file now and take my chances with the prenup. The prenup is ironclad, but there has to be a way over $1 million. That is what. I didn't waste 5 years just to walk away with nothing. I stood frozen in the hallway, recorded 30 seconds on my phone before she moved away from the door. The next morning, Mike called. "How you doing, man? Can you come down this weekend? I need to talk to someone. Already booking the flight. See you Friday night." When Mike arrived, I told him everything. The inheritance, the trust conditions, the hidden transfers, the phone call I had recorded. He listened without interrupting. When I finished, he said simply, "Your mom was a genius. She trapped me in an impossible situation. She gave you truth serum. She made Sarah's real motives impossible to hide." Mike pulled out his phone. "Remember that dinner last year, your anniversary?" "Yeah. Sarah spent the whole night talking to my girlfriend about your mom's house, asking if we thought she would sell it, what the neighborhood was like, if property values were going up. We thought it was weird but didn't say anything." Another sign I had missed. "What are you going to do?" Mike asked. "I don't know. Part of me still wants to believe the best. The best. Dude, she has been consulting divorce attorneys for over a year. She has been skimming money from your joint account. She literally said she didn't waste 5 years to walk away with nothing." He was right. But saying it out loud made it real. Update 2, I saw a divorce attorney on Monday. Not Walsh, since he represents mom's estate, but someone Mike's girlfriend recommended. Specialized in high-asset divorces. She reviewed everything: trust conditions, phone recording, hidden account transfers, timeline of attorney consultations, mom's letter. "Your mother was remarkably prescient," she said. "Every protection she built is legally airtight. The trust is unbreakable. I have seen them challenged before. They hold up. What happens if Sarah finds out about the conditions? If she is the person your mother feared, she will probably file for divorce immediately, thinking she can fight for part of it. If she genuinely loves you, she will be hurt but patient. The response will tell you everything. And if she files, you fulfill the trust conditions. 6 months after the divorce is final, you receive the full inheritance clean. As your ex-wife, she has no claim since the money never entered the marriage. The trust owned it the entire time." I asked about the $18,400 she had transferred. The attorney said, "It showed financial planning with deceptive intent. Could be useful if she tried to claim she had been a devoted partner." I went home with a folder of information I hoped I had never need. Sarah was in full planning mode. She had created a Pinterest board for lake houses, spreadsheets of investment opportunities, started following boat, lifestyle influencers. "Look at this property in Bend," she said. "Laptop open, $800,000 for 5 acres and a custom home. We could do this. We have more than enough. We don't have anything yet, Sarah. The estate is still in probate, but we will. And when we do, we need to move fast. Properties like this don't last." The house was beautiful. It was also everything Mom would have hated. Showy, expensive, impractical for 2 people with no kids. "I need to tell you something," I said. She looked up. "What?" I almost did it, almost explained about the trust conditions, but something stopped me. I am not comfortable making big purchases right away. I need 6 months at least to process losing Mom before deciding how to handle her money. Her expression changed completely. Hardened. 6 months. Are you kidding? It is not that long. It is half a year. Do you know how many opportunities we could miss? The real estate market alone, Sarah. My mother just died. I am not ready to spend her life savings on lake houses and boats. Her money. You mean, our money. We are married. What is yours is mine, remember. There it was, said directly. The thing that had been implicit in every conversation for 3 weeks. Actually, inheritance is separate property in Oregon unless I choose to commingle it. It is mine until I decide otherwise. She stared at me like I had slapped her. Are you saying you had keep it separate from me? Your wife? I am saying I haven't decided anything, and I will not be pressured while I am grieving. The fight that followed was brutal. She accused me of being selfish, controlling, of not trusting her, of treating her like an outsider instead of family. I stayed calm, didn't engage, just kept repeating I needed time. She slept in the guest room that night. The next morning, over coffee, she said, I have been thinking. Maybe we need space. This inheritance has made things weird between us. Maybe we should talk about whether this marriage is actually working. My heart sank, but something also crystallized. Are you asking for a divorce? I am saying maybe we were too young when we got married. Maybe we are different people now. Maybe it is time to admit we want different things. Is this about the money? It is about you refusing to include me in major decisions. About you treating me like I don't matter. If that is how you see me, maybe we should end this. I took a breath. If that is what you want, I will not fight you. She looked surprised, like she had expected me to panic, to beg. You will not. Number, if you think we should divorce, then we should. I want you to be happy. Something flickered across her face. Confusion, then calculation. Maybe we should try counseling first. I thought you said it wasn't working. I mean, we could try. If you are willing to work on things. To be more open about finances, more trusting. I saw it clearly then. She had threatened divorce, expecting me to cave, to promise her access to the money, when I didn't. She tried to backpedal. You were right the first time, I said. I think we should divorce. We do want different things. I am finally seeing that clearly. You cannot be serious. I am. You deserve someone who shares your vision, and I deserve someone who doesn't see my mother's death as a financial opportunity. Her face went white, then red. How dare you? I supported you through all of this. You supported me for about 4 days. Then you started shopping for boats. This is about the money. You want to keep it all for yourself. Number, this is about you threatening divorce. The second I said, I wasn't ready to spend it. You made the threat. I am calling it. I stood up, grabbed my keys, needed to leave before I said something worse. Where are you going? To call a divorce attorney. Like you wanted, her voice rose. Wait, let's talk about this. I didn't mean we should actually divorce. I was just trying to express that I feel shut out. You said maybe we should end this. I agree. Let's end it. I left her standing in the kitchen, drove to a coffee shop called The Attorney, told her to prepare papers. Are you certain? She asked. My mother gave me a choice. I am making it. Sarah started texting immediately. Call me, we need to talk. I didn't mean it like that. I was just stressed and said something stupid. Please come home. We can work this out. I didn't respond. Mike called that afternoon. Sarah just called me. She is freaking out. Wants me to talk to you. What did you tell her? That you are a grown man making your own decisions. Then I blocked her number. Thanks, man. Come to Seattle for a few days. Clear your head. Stay with me and Emily. I packed a bag and drove north. Final update: the divorce was finalized 3 weeks ago. Sarah's attorney tried everything. Claimed she had been in emotional distress when she mentioned divorce. That she had been a devoted caregiver during my grief. That she deserved compensation for supporting me through a traumatic loss. My attorney presented the phone recording, the timeline of her attorney consultations going back 13 months. The hidden account transfers totaling $18,400 in cash payments to divorce lawyers. The prenup that clearly stated no alimony if either party initiated divorce in the first 5 years. Sarah's attorney advised her to accept the terms. The evidence was overwhelming. She got what she brought into the marriage. I kept the house I had owned before we married. Split of joint assets was minimal since we had kept most things separate. No alimony. No claim to the inheritance that never technically became marital property. She was devastated. Her attorney tried one last angle, arguing that the trust conditions were manipulative and designed to interfere with the marriage. My attorney replied that the trust protected assets that had always belonged to my mother. Sarah was never entitled to them. The judge agreed. After everything was final, I went back to Walsh's office. I have met the conditions, I said. He smiled. I know. Your mother would be very proud of how you handled this. When can I access the trust? 6 months from today. The waiting period begins after the divorce is finalized. Your mother wanted you to have time to heal and make clear decisions as a single man. He pulled out another envelope. She left this one for after the divorce. If it came to that, I opened it with shaking hands. My darling boy, if you are reading this, you made the hard choice. I am so proud of you. I know it hurt. I know you wanted to believe the best about Sarah. That is who you are. You see good in people, but when someone shows you who they really are, you have to believe them. The money is yours. Use it wisely. Use it to build the life you actually want. Travel, invest, give to charity, whatever brings you peace. But more than the money, I hope this taught you what real love looks like. It is patient. It is kind. It doesn't keep score. It doesn't calculate. It doesn't come with conditions or timelines or demands. You will find that love, I promise. And when you do, you will know it because it will feel nothing like what you just left behind. Be free, sweetheart. Live well. Make me proud. Love always. Mom, I am living in Mom's house now. Sold the place Sarah and I shared. This house feels right, smaller, simpler. Mom's garden still grows out back. I am not dating, not ready. 3 months isn't enough time to process everything. The grief, the betrayal, the realization I had been married to someone I never truly knew. But I am okay. Better than okay. Actually, I kept Mom's Camry. Sold my leased BMW. The Camry runs great and doesn't announce anything to anyone. I am teaching myself to cook with Mom's old recipes. Found them in a box in her closet. Her pot roast made me cry last week, but in a good way. Mike visits monthly. Emily, too. They are the kind of friends who show up. I joined a grief support group, met others who have lost parents suddenly. It helps to talk to people who understand that kind of loss. I am also volunteering with the Teachers' Education Fund, the charity that would have gotten everything if I had stayed married. They do good work. Mom supported them for years. When the trust releases, I am planning a significant donation in her name. Not everything, but enough to honor what she wanted. Someone at group asked me last week if I regretted the divorce, if losing the relationship was worth gaining the inheritance. I told them the truth. The inheritance was never the point. The point was understanding who I would actually marry. The point was having clarity to make a real choice. The point was realizing my mother loved me enough to protect me from my own blind spots even after she was gone. The money matters. It will change my life practically, security, freedom, options. But the real gift was permission to choose myself, to walk away from something that looked right but felt wrong, to trust my instincts when someone showed me their true character. I am 35, single, living in my childhood home, driving a 13-year-old Camry, and I am free.